And g'day, everyone.
Good afternoon, La Trobe University.
How is everyone doing today? My name is Kristen Sessionelli.
And my name is Calvin Longcarrick.
Oh!
I introduced myself, thank you very much.
Oh, jolly on ya, Calvin. Jolly on ya.
Good, fair go, mate.
Yeah, fair go.
It's election week.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Very nice, very nice. It's a busy agora that we are looking at today. Everyone is running around like sheep and people in the farm, but we're having fun here.
I don't think that Kristen's ever been to a farm.
Yeah, usually it's pretty quiet. I mean, like it's kind of like a concert, and everyone's like preparing for the day, but they're like also like trying to find out like their favorite superstar. Their favourite superstar, like,
yes,
in the audience.
We'll assume that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're watching us now on the big screen in the Agora, and you can also watch us on social media on upstart.net.au.
And we're also live on Facebook, on Upstart Magazine, and we're on Ustream, so that's pretty exciting.
All various good sites.
Yeah, various good sites.
Hey, Kristen.
Yes.
Can you tell us what we have for today?
Oh, I can. So, we're going to be looking at the London attacks that happened over on the weekend. We're going to be looking at the famous arts ball that some people, or maybe not some people, know about. We're going to be looking at sports again, like usual, whatever the sports is going on in the world. We're going to be looking at Gandalf.
We're just going to be looking at him.
Yeah, we're just going to be looking at a photo
Ian
of
McKellen
him.
is in the studio. He's not. Don't stick around for him. You'll be disappointed.
Yeah. We're going to be speaking to some people who have created Lorca, the Lorca season through the Theatre and Film Society at La Trobe. That's pretty exciting. And we're going to be also looking at politics again with Sheridan. And we're going to look at, is iPhones or Samsungs better or not, or worse?
Are iPhones or Samsungs better?
Yeah. Which one?
We like grammar here at the Legal Report.
Yeah. As
Sorry.
you can probably tell. But first, here's Sheridan with the headlines.
Thank you, Crispy. So, British police have downgraded the terrorism threat level to severe from critical after arresting 2 men in relation to a bombing on the London Underground. A 21-year-old man identified as Syrian Yahya Farouk was detained and arrested by police late on Saturday. Police also arrested an 18-year-old man over Friday's bucket bomb attack at Parsons Green Station, which injured 30 people. The bomb went off in a packed carriage, causing a large explosion and a fireball, according to witnesses. Police are still hunting for more suspects. The Islamic State group claimed responsibility for Friday's explosion. French police are so far not treating an acid attack at a train station in the French city of Marseille in the south of France as a terrorist incident. A 41-year-old is alleged to have thrown acid at 4 young American tourists on Sunday, with 2 suffering facial injuries and 1 a possible eye injury. All 4 are in hospital being treated for shock while the suspect was taken into custody. The suspect had a history of mental illness but did not make any extremist threat or declaration during the attack, according to the spokesperson for Marseille's prosecutor office. The US consulate in Marseille is in contact with French authorities to offer assistance to the victims. Lachlan Murdoch and Bruce Gordon have lost their court bid to purchase the 10 network, paving the way for a CBS takeover. Gordon took Channel 10's administration to the NSW High Court, arguing that his and Murdoch's bid was not properly considered and CBS was treated favourably. Murdoch and Gordon were the first to bid on Channel 10 when the network went into administration in June, with CBS putting in a subsequent bid of $28 million. Gordon is the owner of the Win television network and Murdoch is executive co-chairman of News Corp. 2 brothers of Sydney nightclub owner John Ibrahim have faced court this morning after being extradited from Dubai to Australia over their alleged involvement in an international drug smuggling syndicate. Michael and Fadi Ibrahim arrived in Sydney last night after being arrested along with 2 other Australian nationals in Dubai early last month. Police allegedly uncovered nearly 2 tonnes of drugs the group planned to import into Australia, as well as $740,000 in cash and 15 million cigarettes during a series of raids in Dubai, the Netherlands and Australia. Australian Federal Police and New South Wales authorities also arrested John Ibrahim's model girlfriend Sarah Budge and his son Daniel during a raid in Sydney. Both are on bail. Residents of the Caribbean, still reeling after the devastating impact of Hurricane Irma, are bracing themselves for yet another storm. Hurricane Maria, currently a Category 1 storm and gaining strength, is headed for the region with 120 km/h winds. The US National Hurricane Center said the center of Maria will move across the Leeward Islands Monday night local time, and then over to the extreme northeastern Caribbean Sea on Tuesday local time. The Department of Human Services confirmed the death of an 8-year-old girl from the flu this morning. The young girl died at the Anglis Hospital in Upper Ferntree Gully on Friday. It is the second death from the flu recently, with young father Ben Elo dying on his first Father's Day this year. Health Minister Jill Hennessy has urged Victorians to be alert of flu symptoms. Lady Mary Fairfax, the wife of Sir Warwick Oswald Fairfax, an influential figure in Fairfax media, has died aged 95. Her family released a statement saying she died peacefully at the family home Fairwater on Sunday night. Australian golfer Mark Leishman has secured victory at the PGA Tour's BMW Championship, winning US $101.57 million. The 33-year-old is now a contender in FedEx Cup's $10 million bonus prize to be decided next week. He won by 5 shots ahead of the Englishman Justin Rose and American Ricky Fowler, while fellow Australian Jason Day came fourth. It was Leishman's 3rd career victory and 2nd this season, after he also won the Arnold Palmer Invitational in March. And now onto the weather. Monday is windy with a late shower and a top of 22. Morning shower on Tuesday, clearing by the afternoon with a max of 14. 19 on Wednesday and mostly sunny. Friday, slight chance of shower in the morning with a top of 19. Partly cloudy on the weekend with a slight chance of rain. This has been Sheridan Lee for the Eagle Report, the Trobe Live.
Well, thank you so much, Sheridan.
Thank you, Sheridan. And if you're just joining us now, there is a pack of crows going to town on a bin outside of our studio.
Oh, gosh, it's absolutely incredible. I was just watching it the whole time. I tried to concentrate on the news, but those birds, man.
Yes, the birds.
The birds.
The Crow by Hitchcock.
Yeah.
It's Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sheridan. Very
Thank
fascinating news. It was not just the crows we were focused on.
That's right. But over the weekend, 8 people were killed in central London when 3 attackers drove a van into pedestrians on the London Bridge and launched a knife attack in the wholesale retail market in South Bank. Now we have Marie, who's going to be talking about the London attacks with us and sharing us about what went down.
Yes, so basically that was actually a different attack you mentioned.
Oh,
that was the previous attack.
Oh,
so,
no.
Yeah, so this one was the bombing on the London Underground.
Okay.
So a 21-year-old man identified by Sky News as a Syrian refugee named Yahya Farouk was arrested on Saturday at 11:50 p.m. London time in Hounslow. He was taken to a South London police station where he remains in custody following questioning from authorities. This arrest comes after police raided the home of the first suspect, an 18-year-old man who has not yet been identified. Obviously, he hasn't been identified by police yet. His identity is being kept as a closely guarded secret. However, it is known that he is a refugee and a foster child. The property where he grew up on Cavendish Road, Surrey upon Thames, has been raided by police, and the owners of this property are Penelope and Ronald Jones, who are an elderly couple who have cared for 268 foster children.
Wow.
And they were recognised by the Queen for their foster efforts. It is also believed, I'll keep going. With this attack, it was not as serious as it was intended to be.
Okay.
The bomb only partially detonated. So
Yeah,
they're quite thankful in that sense
That's
that
right.
That's lucky. That's fortunate.
it did lead to 30 injuries, however, but it could have been much worse.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
right.
yes, it could have been deadly if it had fully detonated. Due to this attack, the UK terror threat was altered. It was raised on September 15 in the aftermath to critical, which means that another attack is imminent. However, as of yesterday, it was dropped back down to severe. So the police think they've got the upper hand on it. They think they've got the upper hand and they're pretty sure they've got it all under control. So they've dropped that threat back down to severe, which means that another attack is highly likely. So not imminent, but highly likely. And of course, this is not the first attack that London has had this year.
We just got a
we just got a full spiel
attack.
from me.
Yeah. That was the previous one you mentioned.
Yes.
So this is actually the 5th attack in the UK this year, with the first being the Westminster Bridge attack in March. After this, we obviously had the Manchester Arena bombing at the Ariana Grande concert. There was also the London Bridge and Borough Market attack, which is, I think, the one you mentioned before.
Yep, that's the one I did mention, yeah.
And there was also a van ramming into Muslim worshippers near Finsbury Park Mosque, and that was in June. So that was the most recent one until the tube attack over the weekend.
It's a pretty tumultuous time for London right now, isn't it?
That's it. It seems like as soon as one's kind of happened, there's a break, and then there's another one.
Begin,
Yes, and there was actually an incident as well involving a British Airways flight overnight. This was deemed to be a false alarm. However, this flight was due to fly from Paris's Charles de Gaulle Airport to London, and it was evacuated due to a security threat. It was later deemed to be a false alarm, but each passenger and bag were checked multiple times after evacuation. They didn't end up finding any threats, but police didn't elaborate on what the actual threat was, so we're not quite sure what happened there, but luckily it was in fact a false alarm and not another threat or attack or anything like that.
Definitely. I think as well the whole it's just a question to ask why London in particular has received so many attacks over the world. But it's not only London that we need to consider, it's around the globe. Multiple attacks have been made. And
like Paris and the recent ones
that's right.
in Spain, wasn't it? So they're everywhere.
Do you think that something it's sort of semi-linked to Brexit potentially? That's sort of like...
Could be. I'm not 100% sure personally, but I don't know. There could be a link there. I'm not quite sure.
Because it seems like both... it seems like it's not... like this was a Syrian refugee, you said, but it also seems like there's attacks on Muslim instances with the van driving into worshippers, so there's conflict from every angle.
That's true. I'm not sure whether there's any links particular, but it's not a good time. Let's face it, it's not good. But hopefully there's no more. We can keep our fingers crossed that there are no more attacks. Because they're just too frequent.
Yeah, definitely. And has any of the politicians over there in the UK had anything to say since the attacks?
Well, of course, the Prime Minister, and that has responded. She was obviously, raising the threat level and all of that. So, they have responded. I haven't seen in-depth press conferences or anything that they've done. I'll admit I haven't seen any of those. But, they obviously have responded.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Maureen, for coming in.
No worries.
And chatting with us about that serious topic. But next up, we're going to go and take a short break. Tune in after the break. What? Question for me. Yeah. Okay. Have you ever heard of the Arts Ball?
No.
No. What do you mean? The Arts Ball.
The Arts Ball. Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you go last year to the Arts Ball?
No.
Have you heard that this year Peter Hitchen is coming to the Arts Ball?
No.
No? That's okay. If you want to grab a ticket from me now, you're more than welcome.
Okay, thank you.
I don't even know why I'm here. I don't even know what the Arts Ball is. I don't even know why I'm presenting this right now.
You mind answering just a question for me? Yeah. Why? I just want to sell 200 tickets, okay?
Hello. Testing. Is the mic on? Hello. Hello. Can I ask you a question, please? For 5 seconds. Hello. Hello. Sorry. What's your name?
Michael.
Hi, Michael. Nice to meet you. Just wondering, have you heard of the art?
No, I haven't.
Hey, he's not the only one. Not many people have heard of the Arts Ball. Okay.
I don't think I've been invited anyway. I'm a staff member.
Oh, sorry. Which faculty?
I'm from the Central Admin.
Well, you know what? The Arts Ball is very inclusive and we're open to everyone. So if you want to come along, $85 for 2 courses and drinks all night.
Bill, do you mind answering a quick question for us?
Yeah, sure.
Have you heard of the Arts Ball?
I have heard of the Arts Ball. Apparently, it's on in October. Is that correct?
He hit the nail on the head. For once, someone knows about the Arts Ball. Thank you.
Okay. I'm not going though, but have fun.
Oh.
One, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door, ready to make an entrance. So back on up.
Excuse me.
Hey there. You want to buy tickets to the Arts Ball?
Yes, actually.
Well, $85 a ticket. Gets you spirits all night, wine, beer, Peter Hitchener. We're going to get so beep up tonight. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener from 9 News. I'm going along to this year's Arts Ball. Would you join me? I hope you will. It's presented by La Trobe's JMac Society. It's on October the 20th at the Lincoln Centre on Toorak Road, and you're going to have a great night. See you there. What is the Arts Ball anyway?
Well, welcome back, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed that lovely ad for the Arts Ball. If you didn't hear it already, the Arts Ball is happening on the 20th of October. It's a Friday night, Friday evening. Tickets are on sale now. There isn't many left. $85, and that will get you a 2-course meal, cocktails on arrival, unlimited drinks, including beer, wine, and spirits, and soft drinks if you're not drinking. Peter Hitchener's coming along, and I've talked so much that you're probably thinking, how does she have all this information kept in her mind? But I do.
Wow, Kristen, that sounds like a great deal.
It is a great deal! And if you haven't got your tickets yet, you better hurry up because there isn't many left.
And now sports! With
Sports!
Bilal Ali and Ahmed Abouid. Guys, what have you got for us? What happened on the weekend?
I want to know.
That was a
Who
great
kicked the most
introduction.
points?
Love that.
Honestly, I think Ahmed's the best person to answer that question. In terms of AFL,
AFL, a few points were scored.
but in the English Premier League, I think I'm your man. Ahmed Abouid, how are you, man?
Good, have you been?
I'm good.
Pretty decent week in sport, a little disappointing though, right?
The AFL was horrible.
Yeah, AFL was.
I mean, finals are absolute blowouts, but
Did you enjoy the EPL though?
EPL was good, as always.
We saw Manchester United there. You're one of their few critics early on in the season. A lot of people favouring them to win the title, but
Yeah.
how do you feel they went this week? Do you think now they've convinced you and they can go all the way?
Well, look, I'm a United supporter and a critic at the same time because I've kind of felt the pain over the last few years, and I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. Is that the correct saying?
That's
right.
right.
I believe, yeah.
Count your chickens before they hatch.
And I've been very hesitant to count us as title favourites or even contenders for the title, just because like a teenage girl watching The Notebook, I don't want to get heartbroken. So I was like, I think we'll be okay. But now I'm getting convinced. I'm getting there.
Yeah, it's been a few games in. They're doing real well with the win over the weekend. They look promising. But
Yeah,
the other side of Manchester, we go to Manchester City. Even more promising than Man U. Won 6-0 this weekend.
Look, Ahmed, I'm gonna have to cut you off. Mate, we have to look at the Premier. We have to look at the highlights from the Manchester
Okay,
United
yeah,
game. We
yeah,
have
fair
to
enough. Let's
because
have a look at
we
those.
ran riot. Oh, they're showing the City game. Oh, this is what I mean.
That's it. That's what
This is
happens
what
in
I mean
Manchester.
about.
Just skip
This is
over
what
that
I mean
United.
about all these
We're going
United
straight to
haters.
City.
This is what
Well,
I
they're
mean
kicking
about the
6
United
goals.
haters.
You got to watch some of this.
Yeah, no, because I'm the one that's putting these packages together. I've only shown 2 of City's goals just to
Okay.
limit
Fair
just to limit my pain.
Yeah.
But
Well, they did put on a clinic, so
yeah, they did. They did. And here we go. Here's the good stuff. The United game, absolute
Ripper.
belter from Antonio Valencia. He's put it into the top corner, and I think the thing that this game showed more than anything is that we can play well. We can play badly and win well. So. I'll stop saying we because I'm supposed to be unbiased and
Yep.
and this isn't a Manchester United program. That Manchester United can win without playing well, and we played pretty averagely. I think for probably 70% of the second half, we didn't even have a shot on goal. And then in the last
It was the last 10 minutes
yeah,
that
the
really,
last
really put you
exactly
over.
the last 10 minutes as we're seeing now, we scored 3 goals. We've done that 3 times this season. Scored 3 goals after the 80th minute, which is absolutely phenomenal to see as a fan. But I think.
Just to cut you off with your going on all about Manchester United, this is not a Manchester United podcast. So just talk to us about City a bit. How scary they look.
Oh, they're
Unbiased opinion,
Look,
please.
as an unbiased journalist, I've got to say they look very, very scary this season. I mean, I haven't been as convinced about City's title challenge as I was when I was watching them on Saturday night, and they put 6 goals plus a Watford team that was actually undefeated before this game. I mean, they're minnows in terms of standing and how much financial backing they have, but they were absolutely amazing in the first 4 games of the season, and then Manchester City came and absolutely showed them how it's done, putting 6 goals past them. I was looking at it, and with every goal, I was just shaking my head like this team is scary. I tipped them for the title, and if you don't believe me, check out the Daily Football Show website and go check out my article. Not plugging at all.
Plug.
That was totally a plug.
That was a plug. I
plug.
even looked at the camera and everything, made it blatantly obvious. But it's like
sometimes you need a plug.
it's okay. Sometimes you do need a plug. But Arsenal,
Arsenal Chelsea, lovely game on the weekend. Scoreless draw. Is that as boring as it sounds to someone that doesn't really watch football, as you call it?
It's not.
No?
It really wasn't. It was actually a very, very entertaining game. And I think the thing that got me the most was how many chances were created by Arsenal, because a lot of people didn't really give them a chance going into the game. And then they came out and they were the better side. They definitely had more chances. They should have scored. Alexander Lacazette missed an absolute sitter that even my grandmother would have scored. And it was a pretty convincing performance without scoring any goals from the Gunners. And I think Arsenal Fan TV won't be as loud as it normally is, because going away to Stamford Bridge and getting a draw against Chelsea it's not an easy result. And to be fair, as a United fan, I would take that as a result at Stamford Bridge, considering we lost 4-0 there last season.
Well, 90 minutes with no score, just a bunch of men kicking the ball around. I don't know if I'd be in town
I see what you're
watching that.
segueing to.
So, yeah, now
I
we're
see
moving
what
to the
I
AFL.
see what you're segueing
We got
to.
a 4 quarters, 20 minutes, a lot of goals scored.
Oh,
Unfortunately, over the weekend, it was more goals for two sides that didn't really do well. We start with the Geelong-Sydney game. This was probably called to be one of the games of the year. Sydney didn't show up. Buddy Franklin, their midfield, didn't show up. Your thoughts on the game? How did you
I was extremely disappointed because I've tipped Sydney. I tipped Sydney for the flag before they lost this game, which a lot of people called outrageous. But I like to make these outrageous calls because then when they come off, I sound like a genius.
And when they don't, you sound like it's just
exactly right. And that's kind of what Sydney have made me sound like now. So thanks, Sydney. But Geelong, I touched on it last week, and we spoke about how they played Richmond at the MCG at 95,000, and it was justified. 2 Victorian teams. They're playing a team from interstate, and they still couldn't get a game at Cardinia Park.
I understand that.
They might as well call themselves the Jollymont Cats.
Exactly.
Because that's where they're playing all their games.
Yeah.
At the
well,
MCG.
for September, you need to win the big stage if you want to win the premiership. So it doesn't really change anything there. And now you don't really hear their fans coming out and saying, "Oh, we needed the home ground to."
Yeah, because they won.
Exactly.
Of course, but at the end of the day, think about how many Geelong fans couldn't attend because it's such a long commute and.
It's not too long. If it's a final game, you should be able to make the trip. I don't find that to be as big a problem as a lot of other people. They hit 55,000 fans, so unfortunately the game wasn't as good as people hoped it would be. Dangerfield came up, showed out, so that was good to watch, but disappointed a little. And the night after, disappointed again, unfortunately. GWS just came and ran over.
This one I saw coming. GWS
a little bit.
And Stevie J. He turned it on.
He turned it on, Steve
He
Johnson.
absolutely turned it on, Stevie
Well,
Johnson.
some people say he turned it on. He kind of got a lot of gimmies, a lot of goal square goals, some crumbs, not really goals that a superstar gets when the game's really tight.
Yeah, we'll take a look at his goals now. But I think the main thing about Stevie Johnson is he's such a key finals player. I mean, there's
remarkable skill, Green.
He just stands up.
Barris dropped the mark. Oh, Stevie J. It's got danger signs all over it now. Yeah, this one's going to come back with interest, you would think. There it is. A Wilson kick. Stevie! Oh, he's done it beautifully. It's coming. Brilliant by Cornelio. Got it from Kelly. Goes long. Stevie J!
But he sets two.
The nod of the head as soon as he hit the deck. His team is heading for the preliminary final. And now Stevie J's got 4. In the term, if you don't mind. His old side, Stevie J! Stevie J! Number 6!
How many years now?
Exactly right, yeah. And they
16 years since they won a regular final.
They haven't won a premiership since Mick Whitehouse was playing. And since then, he's retired from playing, started coaching, retired from coaching, went back to coaching, broke the all-time games record, became a lecturer at La Trobe University, went into the media.
Yeah,
exactly.
He had,
See, you didn't even know that. It's
I
been
did
that
not
long.
know
He
that.
lived about 3 different lives, and Richmond still hasn't
Exactly
won a
right,
premiership.
yeah. Mick Morehouse lived 3 times, and Richmond still haven't won a premiership. So I think...
it would be good to see. Well, we saw it with the Western Bulldogs last year, so I don't know if that's coming again. Adelaide, they're looking real dangerous. I don't know if anyone can beat them, so they're probably my tip now.
The thing is about Adelaide, I mean, they're almost unbeatable at Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval. But you have to win. You have to win the grand final at the MCG. It's been the debate that's been going on for years.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing with the AFL. It's there's no 7 games. There's no like the NBA or the NFL or anything. It's you got that one day in September, October this year, I think it is.
Yeah, it's in October.
So you've got to come up on the big stage. Adelaide don't really have experienced players, so Geelong look dangerous. I don't know. It could be anyone right now.
I want to ask you actually. I want to see what your view is on this. Do you believe that the grand final should be played at the home ground of the team that earned it, like the prelim final, or because a lot of people are saying, oh, it's just a straight no?
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Let me finish my question.
The AFL's a business kind of thing first, right? They need to make money and sell tickets. And even for fans, you wouldn't want 20,000 people at a grand final. It wouldn't look right. So the
at
MCG
least if you played in the biggest stadium in the state. I mean, I know Adelaide's awful, and I say that, and I'm going there this Thursday.
Yeah. Well, they'll sell out at Adelaide, but the thing is, if AFL was VFL first, so it should stay Victorian first. That's pretty much biased.
But that's the thing; it's going to stay VFL.
Yeah.
If it doesn't move the grand final, it's going to stay as the VFL. I'm of the belief that if you've earned the grand final, if you've earned the home grand final, you play the home grand final.
It makes sense.
I mean, at the end of the day, I understand it's a business, and it's the grand final is as much a corporate event as it is a football match with the grand final breakfast and everything that goes around it. But it's such a disadvantage, especially for teams that are horrible at the MCG. For example, West Coast. When they made the grand final, got absolutely smashed. If that grand final was at Subiaco, that would have been a different match.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Fremantle never won a premiership because they can't play away from home.
MCG. I know what you mean. Well, at the start of the season, teams go in making game plans. They know the last game's always going to be the MCG. Something they have to deal with. I don't think it'll ever change, and it shouldn't ever change. But that's just what they're going to have to deal with.
I think it's definitely something that the AFL needs to look into. And I see Gillian McLaughlin as an innovative leader.
He changes a lot of things. Yeah,
exactly right. I see him. If it's ever going to happen, it's going to happen under his rule. And it's something that Andrew Demetriou was always accused of. He wasn't the type to change anything. He was such a traditional.
Which a lot of people like though. It's hard to please everybody.
But come on. Like, I mean, it's a player's game at the end of the day. They advertise it as a player's game. It's not a corporate's game. Corporate people can go to functions and go to events on any other day of the year. This is the year that the players play for all season, and at the end of the day, they don't get that home ground final that they've worked so hard for. So Adelaide now, they finished top of the ladder, and it doesn't really matter if they win all their finals. They're still going to play their grand final at the MCG. And part of my language, I think it's
bollocks.
I think it's absolutely crap.
Bollocks. I don't know about bollocks.
No. Part of my French.
Do you want us to get kicked off?
Yeah, come on, man, not bollocks.
Is the Vice Chancellor watching?
I don't know about bollocks, but yeah, it could be a little unfair. It's a convincing argument. Well, whatever we say now isn't going to change anything. We're going to have to. Right. So just final tips. Do you think Richmond's going to go? Who do you think they're going to beat in the grand final? Adelaide, Geelong.
I'm going to tip Adelaide. I'm going to tip Adelaide to go through.
And lose to Richmond at the end?
And
Or you're just hoping Richmond win?
No, I'm hoping Richmond win, but I don't think they will. I think, despite all my arguments, I think Adelaide will win at the MCG and be crowned the premiers.
Okay. Well, I think it's going to be Geelong versus Richmond. Moving on back to the host, just your tips and take it away from there.
Thank you. I'm going to tip for Richmond because Richmond deserve it.
I'm going to tip Adelaide because I haven't seen them win a final in a while.
Lovely. Thank you.
Great sporting insight. Why did we even have to come on? Why did we even have to come on with insight like that?
Exactly.
I know.
Anyway.
Fabulous. But thank you so much, boys.
Thanks for having us.
It means a lot. Don't forget to tweet us at Eagle Report LTU. We'll be showcasing your tweets on the show. And if you're important, we'll show you too. But first, let's take a break.
A new unexpected candidate is running for Prime Minister in a comedy channel first. Gandalf the Grey. Will Gandalf succeed in facing his greatest challenges yet? If so, God help us all.
And welcome back, everybody. It is a fabulous day today in the Agora. Don't you agree, Calvin?
I do agree. I agree that the elections make it even more fabulous.
It
keeps you alive, keeps you on your toes, keeps you running, keeps you alert.
I know. But now on the show, we're going to be introducing our lovely guests who are third-year drama students, or should I say creative arts students. They're doing a subject called Drama Project, and they're going to be featuring in the Lorca season shows through the Theatre and Film Society at La Trobe. It's running from October 6th to October 14th. It's featuring the shows, I'm going to name them now, The Blood Wedding, The Shoemaker's Wonderful Wife, and The House of Bernarda Alba, I believe. But we have in the studio with us the director of Shoemaker's Wife, Blaine Welsh, and Maddie Stewart, who is starring in The Blood Wedding. Thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Yeah, no
Thanks
worries.
for having us.
It's really good to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, very nice, very nice. So I'll start with you, Blaine. Tell us about your past experience in theatre and how you enjoy studying at La Trobe.
Okay, well, I love studying at La Trobe, obviously. I'm still here. But I started my journey in theatre probably about 4 or 5 years ago when I moved down here from Newcastle. Did a little production of Midsummer Night's Dream at the Steiner Seminar, then decided to move on to studying it at university. I did a 12-month studio course at the VCA, which gave me my basic grounding. And since then, it's mainly been focusing through numerous productions with the Student Theatre and Film Society, that's here, as well as, obviously, the coursework itself.
Beautiful. And what about you, Maddie?
Yeah, so I kind of have done theatre since high school. I mainly do music theatre, so I do like doing straight plays as well, which is what I get the taste of here at La Trobe. And that's pretty much it. Like, I've been doing it since I was, 16. Not that I'm bragging, but yeah. That's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, you both sound very experienced and obviously loving what you're doing. But could you tell us a little bit about your show? So you're directing The Shoemaker's Wife. How's that going so far?
It's going amazingly, yeah. The Shoemaker's Wonderful Wife, I've picked the comedy out of the three. The other two are a little bit serious. I wanted to go with something a little bit more fun because I've done a lot of psychological realism. I'd rather go something a little bit crazy. So we've done some gender swapping. We've made it an all-female cast now, which is somewhat topical given the circumstances around the yes vote and other things that are going on. But no, we've had a lot of fun. It's been going extremely well, and hopefully it's going to be an awesome show to behold when it comes on.
Yeah, awesome. And Maddie, you are an actress in The Blood Wedding. What is your role, and tell us how it's going so far?
Yeah, okay. So I'm basically, my character is Mother. Don't have a name.
You're just the mother.
I'm just the mother. So, but ours, as Blaine was saying, is a tragedy. Walt, the director, doesn't want me to give away too much, but I will say that someone has described it as like the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones. So.
Oh, yeah.
I
mean, with the title like The Blood Wedding,
yeah,
it's not far off.
Exactly. It kind of just gives the sense that it's going to be pretty intense and kind of there is a wedding in Act 2, which is really exciting, and then Act 3 things go a little bit awry and it's a little bit different.
Awesome, awesome.
So what is the sort of production process like, and what's it sort of like working with students in this regard?
Well, I first off, this is my first time taking a foray into directing. So working with students is, I think, an excellent opportunity because, well, one thing about students is students bring a lot of energy, a lot of fun and a lot of play. So to start out with, I've worked with a couple of really excellent directors and I'm emulating a lot of what they do. So we start out with trying to develop a sense of play. So we use games, we use these little activities that seem to make not much sense from the outside, which make theatre students probably look like they're kind of weird. But there is a purpose and a reason on doing these exercises. So you're trying to get a sense of the ensemble, a sense of the group, how space works, how you work in the space. And once we've got that, then we start I just like to throw the actors in there, let them read through, let them walk through, let them do what they feel like they need to do. And then it's just a case of tweaking. But working with a diverse group of students is amazing. So I've got a couple of dancers who have been working on choreographing scenes. I've got a couple of amazing young women when it comes to singing that are very highly trained. So they've been working on song and music. And yeah, everyone takes ownership, everyone's part of it, and it's just a fun atmosphere. And students are even more fun. Actors, professional actors, when you work with them, tend to be, well, they can be of varying levels of joy when it comes to the experience, but students are just so willing to take control and take ownership if you let them go at it.
Definitely. And it's a learning curve as well. So
absolutely.
Definitely. It always sounds fun when it's a bunch of students who just want to do something creative and get involved. I think it's really important.
And theatre and most creativity is about just going out there, having a go, failing, and discovering things. And that's what I think student life's all about and should always be about.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. And Maddie, tell us about the production process for the Blood Wedding. How's it all going so far with Walt, obviously, who's directing?
Yeah, so I guess that we do have elements of fun in there as well, even though we are doing a tragedy. But I find a lot of it is based around character work. For people that don't do theatre, it's a lot of walking around the space and embodying the person you're going to be. Especially for me, I'm finding I'm having to really change myself because I don't share a lot in common with my character, which is really exciting because usually I love to take a comedic role. And Walt is very experienced, and every time he runs through that sort of activity, it's really, really helpful. We do have, I think we are a bunch of passionate people in our play. There's 12 of us, and so we're probably one of the bigger groups, and we definitely clash, but I think we all have this strong sense of direction for where we want this play to go. We did our first full run last week. I mean, we've been rehearsing for 8 weeks, so it's been really good, really fun.
Very nice to hear, yeah. So you have been rehearsing quite a lot of time throughout the last couple of weeks. How has rehearsing been so far in general? When did you guys start first rehearsing?
Well, we started first rehearsals at the beginning of semester, so this forms part of an actual subject, so it matches in with the semester-based requirements. We started out with about 6 hours a week in rehearsal. I used a lot of the early rehearsals again just to have some fun, develop the ensemble, get that sense of play, get everyone comfortable with the space. And then we started running. Now we're getting close to the pointy end of the stick, so to speak. I think we've got about 3 weeks or so before the plays start going on. So now's when we're really adding extra rehearsals and we're really becoming focused. But yeah, rehearsals been good. We've managed to get everyone together. I think I'm really proud of the girls and Nico, the group that I've got. They've been working really well together and even doing extra things themselves just to help choreograph and make the show good.
Yeah, awesome. And Maddie, about...
Oh, look, just quickly I'll say is that we pretty much, as Blaine said, we're getting to cracking point, and so we've got to really get our lines sorted, which is really hard because, I mean, some bits are flowing and some bits are like, they're so chunky and choppy, but I always find that if you're feeling like you're struggling, it's okay because you're going to get there in the end. You've got a time when it needs to be done, and so we'll get there.
Awesome.
And so, it's a subject, what you do. What sort of support do you receive from the university
Okay,
in regards to this?
well, obviously we've got access to these amazing new theatre spaces that the university just finished constructing, which is a brilliant investment. Additionally, we do have some small budget, not a lot, obviously. But no, I think we get more than adequate support in the space, in the location, in a little bit of extra money, and then everything else we pick up ourselves, like my crew just ran a bake sale a couple of weeks ago to get some extra money. But no, strong support, location and financial.
Awesome. And we've got Kim Baston.
Kim Baston, yeah.
Yeah, Baston. She's running the subject, and then we've got obviously like the technical services in the Menzies space. They're going to be doing most of the lighting, and we've got sourced our set. I think what's really beautiful about our plays is that we don't really need a lot of lavish set and costumes because it's about the actors. So.
And there's a lot of amazing staff that work here that are giving us some huge amount of support.
Yeah, and even just with doing sort of publicity and stuff, which I've been doing quite a lot with the other publicity team, that we are able to utilise the media service as well, and for you guys to have us on here talk about it.
Of course.
Yeah. So, now, I really want to go see these shows. So when will these shows be playing?
Okay, well, my show's on from the 11th till the 14th of October at the Menzies Spaces, the new theatre spaces upstairs, so start booking soon.
Yep. So I've just got that both Blood Wedding and the House of Bernarda Alba are on from October 5th to October 8th. Also, there's a Facebook event, so if you literally look up Lorca Season Latrobe, or you kind of ask your friends, you can find tickets, or you can email latrobedramaproject@gmail.com to book tickets and find out more information. Or just come say hello to me, you know, if you ever see me. Just,
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show, guys.
Sounds good.
It
No
sounds
worries.
amazing, and I'm sure I'll be there to see them all.
I hope you do.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No worries, no worries. But now we're going to go to a short documentary that Daniel has prepared for us about Latrobe. And what more than my favourite place in the world, Latrobe. Let's have a look.
Let's go to our resident Spanish.
University, a whole other world. Here, students struggle through assignments, classes, and lectures to get that degree. It is in this unforgiving environment that complex ecosystems and relationships blossom. Here, we will discover Latrobe Planet. Today we have found a rare specimen, a Latrobe live producer. These rare creatures are highly experienced in the way of television production. This being is of an endangered variety known as the Australian Viking. Their numbers dwindling as raiding England isn't very practical from Australia. They do maintain their aggressive tendencies, however. Like most students, producers gain their sustenance from the local watering hole, or as the locals like to call it, the Agora. It would seem he has managed to get the favourite food source of students, a coffee. He must now go find a safe place to consume it. Having found a good spot, here he sits. Unfortunately, it would seem the alpha of the local assistant producers has come to take his meal. As the producer gives chase, he is unable to keep up with the Naruto run technique employed by the assistant. While he adapts the technique, he is too late and is unable to catch him. This is the alpha of the assistant producers, as he enjoys his prize. Oddly enough, the betas of his pack are missing. Having lost his meal, the producer has retreated into his den of the media hub to rest. Without his coffee, the cycle of sleeping, eating, and editing which governs his day has been broken, and now he is unable to properly use the equipment. Unable to get any work done, he decides to go to the Eagle Bar a dangerous place in which many producers have fallen to its addiction. Unfortunately, he is unable to escape this fate either. And so falls the mighty producer.
Welcome back to the Eagle Report. It is a lovely, increasingly grey day out in the Agora. It's election week. I'm going to keep saying that to remind/warn. And back in the studio with us is Sheridan Lee.
Sheridan, you're talking about euthanasia and the Victoria and New South Wales debate that's happening. Tell us all about it.
Correct. So, what we know so far is that the bill is expected to go before the Victorian Parliament sometime this week, with a proper debate expected in October, and it's going before New South Wales on the 21st of September. And Victorian's Health Minister Jill Hennessy will be introducing the bill, and then obviously if they vote yes, euthanasia could be legal in Victoria by as early as 2019.
And that's huge, yeah.
Not far away at all.
And how did the government seal the deal?
That would be on the media reform topic.
Oh, it is? Oh, gosh.
Okay, so
you talk about it.
So just a quick update. Yes, the Turnbull government has secured a deal on the media reform.
And how did they secure the deal?
So they've removed the 2 out of 3 rule that I spoke about last week, and as well the 75% reach rule, in exchange for a new $60 million fund for independent and regional journalism.
Yay! What a good segue.
I don't know if
Excellent.
it's
Well done.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's yay just yet, but we'll see how it
Right
pans
now
out.
it's just a slow, slight...
Yeah, for now.
Back to euthanasia. Good segue.
Yeah, good segue, good segue.
We euthanized that script run. See, it worked. It worked. I made it
that
work.
was awful.
Oh, gosh.
So, yes, the legislation.
So what can we expect
Yes.
to be in the legislation?
So we know
good
that
question.
in Victoria, the patient must have a decision-making ability. Now, that's meaning that a person with dementia or a mental illness isn't eligible. As well, they have to be diagnosed with an advanced progressive illness that would likely cause death within a year, so it's quite a terminal case. And their suffering can't be relieved in a manner tolerable to the person, so such as through palliative care. They also have to be a Victorian resident or an Australian citizen / permanent resident, and they also have to be over the age of 18, because it is obviously a big decision to make. And as well, they have to be assessed by 2 doctors, one who is knowledgeable about their illness, and then the doctor must then refer them to a psychiatrist if they suspect a mental illness. And the doctor can only inject the lethal dose if the patient can't do it themselves.
Amazing. Wow.
So that's just a quick
So it's sort
summary
of
what
it's not like when this is legal you can just decide.
Yeah.
I'm done. It's very much you have to be.
Yeah,
They
so
take all precautions to make sure that.
Yes, by world standard, it's quite a conservative euthanasia legislation from what we can see around the world. And the New South Wales Parliament is obviously watching to see what's happening in Victoria, and then they'll have their vote later on in the year as well. As I said before, they're debating euthanasia on September 21st. There's some slight similarity and some difference between the legislation in Victoria. So I guess the biggest difference is that in Victoria it's going to be introduced by a government minister, so the Health Minister Jill Hennessy. So it's a government legislation, it has high importance, and obviously it's guaranteed a debate in Parliament. But in New South Wales, it's a private member's bill, which is slightly different, introduced by someone who's a member of Parliament but not a government minister. In this case, it's the Nationals MP, Trevor Khan, meaning it's given less time for debate And in the case of content, I guess it's relatively similar. They have to have decision-making capability and terminal illness, doctor assessed and administered, but the difference is you have to be over the age of 25 in New South Wales. As well as you have to see a psychiatrist or psychologist beforehand, whereas in Victoria it's only if you're referred by the doctor. In either state it's highly unlikely that they're going to subsidise it on Medicare. That's another issue as well.
Yeah. Wow. That's, I don't know.
It's a bit of a heavy topic.
Yeah, it is a very heavy topic, and I think it's really important that it's come back into Parliament, and I think it needed to be looked at more in depth, because it did come up. It's come up a couple of times, this Youth in Asia debate.
Definitely.
So it's quite interesting. But back on media reform, I'd like to talk a little bit more about that.
Man, your segues are just...
As journalism students, it just affects us so much.
Yes, that's right. It is.
In the future.
Yeah. So what exactly happened with Nick Xenophon? Can you tell us what deal they made? Because Nick Xenophon, as you might know, is one of my favourite politicians.
He requested that fund into independent regional journalism. Obviously, he didn't get the tax break for small media business that he wanted, but that's what government is. It's all about compromise. You don't get what you want all the time.
Yeah.
That's life.
There's that song, you can always get what you want. Yeah, that's
I'm not singing with you.
Why not?
Because I don't know the words.
Anyway.
I heard a lot of, I was reading on social media, a lot of people commenting on the news when it came out, and just calling him like a closet liberal and all of that stuff because he had sided with the Turnbull government. So it's very interesting, but we'll definitely see how it turns out, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
And if they do, they are removing the 2 out of 3 rule, what that will mean for media ownership and also, just media concentration in general. Like you want to hear from more than one person.
Yeah.
Not just the Murdochs of the world.
Yeah.
That's it. But it's really good for us journalism kiddies. Hopefully we'll get our faces out there into the joyous world of journalism and the
Our
media
faces
industry.
are in the joyous world of the Agora, which is lovely and full of electors, by the way.
Yay! Back to election week. No, I'm kidding. Thank you so much for
That's
joining
okay.
us, Sheridan.
Thank you.
It means a lot, a very, very lot. But now we're going to be talking about pop culture.
Pop culture?
Yeah.
Technology?
Yeah.
Maybe some of the unknown, not the unknown. We're
Yeah.
talking about pop culture with our good friend and resident purple-haired genius, Callan, last name.
Yeah, that
Shable?
Shable.
Shable. I knew I was
it's Swiss
somewhere.
French, so
I
it's
was
a bit of got a lot of chables. Anyway,
Yes.
we're not doing technology anymore. We're just doing pop culture.
Pop culture involves
Because
technology.
there's
That's
a
better.
particular pedestrian article which Adam was a really big fan of.
And
Adam
that's why
is-
Adam
Adam's
is joining
also
us in
in
the
the-
studio
Adam's
right
also in the
now.
studio.
Yes, I am. This is true. What's up, guys? How you been?
Oh, great. How have you been, Adam?
Great.
Oh, great.
You sound so great. You sound like you're not at all ready to unload on an article.
No,
Pedestrian.
I'm great. I'm great. How are you guys?
We're good. Tell us about your...
Yeah.
Tell
Well,
us.
there was a particular article that I just thought was super pretentious by pedestrian.tv. Surprise, surprise.
Yep, not surprised.
And it was basically this person blasting Stephen King for having the child sex scene in the It novel. And I don't know, it was just the way it was written. It was just really pretentious.
So tell us the context of this.
Okay, so
paint a picture.
So
as Mr. King would.
From the scene? The scene itself?
The scene itself,
Okay.
the whole...
Yeah.
So, look, full disclosure, I haven't read the book. I've read about it quite a bit. And from what I can tell, the scene is basically they've gone down into the sewers to find Pennywise. And they get trapped and they think they're going to die and they're all freaking out. And Beverly, the one female in the group, basically suggests that, to calm each other down, why don't we all have, intercourse and stuff.
It was kind of like a ceremony, like a dealing with bad mojo kind of a thing. But
It's
also
also
it was
a,
it's
also
a
an
transition.
awakening.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's after that is when they move to them being adults.
Yeah.
It's 26 or something. However many years later.
it's
27, I think it is.
That's the
Yeah.
one. That's the one. So it's kind of that transition there.
Yeah, and that too. I mean, it's the kind of transition into adulthood kind of thing, and like it states that Beverly only orgasms with two of the guys who it's kind of like a love triangle little thing. So it's that sort of thing.
It's
Look,
very
the
weird
article
how-
I hated. Okay, it was just
So what,
the writer.
What's
just
about
pissed
the
me off.
article?
It was just the way it's like, oh, you know, because Stephen King came out and said like, oh, you know, people are really annoyed how they've just found out that there's this sex scene in it between children, but they don't care about all the children getting brutally murdered and such. And then the writer came out and said, oh, you know, well, we expect that in a horror film, but we wouldn't expect this.
Yeah, it's weird that violence is okay, but sexuality isn't.
Yeah.
In this world, when one's definitely should be more in your normal life than the other.
I can
Like,
understand.
okay, it's with children. It's
Yeah,
okay,
I
it's a little bit
understand
weird
the
and stuff.
hesitation.
Oh yeah,
But
it's I think the graphic way it was described is one of the issues with it. Anyway, another shocking news: JJ is back for the last of the new Star Wars trilogy.
Return of the 9th movie.
Yeah. Return of
Return
the
of the
mediocre
Last Jedi.
director.
Yeah,
Oh.
Return of the Last Awakening.
Yeah, so they had the Jurassic World director doing it.
Christopher something.
Trevorrow.
That's it.
I don't know if his first name is Christopher. I feel like it's Colin.
Colin Trevorrow.
Colin
you're right.
Trevorrow.
My
That's
mistake.
right. And I mean, I personally wasn't, pardon me, happy with it. But you know, shit happens. And now he's out and JJ's in, which is probably the worst decision they could have made. But at the same time, I've spoken to some of my other friends who you know, have different opinions, and I will share their opinions live on air. And it's the fact that he started it, so therefore he's already familiar with it, and it'll be easy for him to finish. Unfortunately, what he started had already been started in 1977.
Other thing is, he didn't have a plan for the 3 movies when he started. There wasn't actually a clear story in mind. And a lot of actors, like Adam Driver was saying, I've forgotten the guy's doing the middle movie is way better than JJ because he gives him direction.
No. Is it Ryan Johnson? Or did he do Rogue One?
Ryan Johnson is doing the 8th, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he did Godzilla.
Yeah. And he gives direction on like your character's motivations and feelings and a lot more than JJ did.
Sorry.
Driver's like, this is way better.
Gareth Edwards did Rogue One and Godzilla.
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson is doing Episode 8. He did Looper.
That's
which
the
is
one.
because I remember I was actually excited for that because I think Looper's a good movie.
Oh, now I'm kind of not excited for Episode 8 because that got weird at the end there.
Weird's good for Star Wars. You need more weird.
I will disagree with you on replacing Trevorrow with Abrams because if you go back and watch Jurassic World, it's a decent film. It's not great as a reboot. And that's why I think that Trevorrow can't really do a Star Wars movie because he can't take an old nostalgic franchise and bring it into the new world with like a good story.
Well, apparently no one can.
Neither can JJ.
Neither can JJ.
I really enjoyed Force Awakens.
It was fine.
It was a fun movie. It didn't do anything new though, and it literally was sequence for sequence.
Just gender bent.
I think
it was more fun.
I think they went with the right direction of recreating New Hope. They knew they couldn't make something new with it directly
with
off
J.J. Abrams at helm. They couldn't have. Anyway, we're going to be here forever if we keep
more
going.
like Jar Jar Abrams.
Breaking news: the Eagle Report is going for another hour. We're locking this.
We're going for a 2-hour show.
But anyway, thanks so much for a lovely discussion, guys. It's
Thanks
been
a lot.
incredible. Thank you so much for watching the Eagle Report.
We hope the pedestrian ride's better for you, Adam.
Yeah.
They won't.
Don't forget to watch the Tuesday election show at 1 p.m.
The Election Connection.
Election Connection. We're going to be looking at all things election-based during this week's student elections.
And how
that'll be going all week as well.
It will be going all week, so definitely tune into that. But you've been watching the Eagle Report. My name's Kristen.
My name's Calvin.
And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
See you later.
Watch out.